Hello, welcome to BioGreat TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. How the military entered the Malian politics. Since its independence in 1960, the Republic of Mali has been faced with varying degrees of civil and political unrests. Between 1968 and 2012, the country has recorded 4 coups d'etats, of which 3 were successful. In this video, we want to give you a rundown of different stories surrounding these military interventions. The first coup d'etat in Mali was carried out on the 19th of November 1968. It was a bloodless one led by Lieutenant Moussa Traoré against the Modibo Keïta's regime. Modibo Keïta was the first president of the Malian Federation, which later became the Republic of Mali after Senegal's exit in 1960. The coup was said to be as a result of the economic difficulties experienced by the Malian population under Keïta's government. On the night of the coup, the young officers ambushed President Keïta's convoy and arrested him. They tried forcing President Keïta to renounce his socialist policies, but he refused. In the end, the mutineers announced on radio that Keïta's autocratic regime had been put to an end. Modibo Keïta and the members of his government were imprisoned in Kidal and Taodeni, while Moussa Traoré constituted the Military Committee for National Liberation (MCNL) and went ahead to become the president of the country in 1969. Many Malians were in support of Moussa Traoré's takeover because of the prevalent harsh socio-economic conditions. After 23 years, Mali witnessed another military intervention tagged the March Revolution on the 26th of March 1991. This coup was led by Lieutenant Colonel Amadou Toumani Touré, and it put an end to President Traoré's administration. Unlike the first coup that was bloodless, this military intervention recorded at least 59 deaths and more than 200 persons were reportedly wounded. The coup was as a result of the 3 days of continuous protests and demonstrations by students and other citizens. These protests were against the strict measures introduced by Traoré's government and developed into pro-democracy rallies and strikes. Riots broke out and the military attempted to scare the protesters away by opening fire on them. President Traoré also declared a state of emergency and imposed a nightly curfew. By the 26th of March, the pro-democracy rallies turned into a full-scale mutiny. Many of the soldiers in Traoré's regime rebelled against his administration and became a part of the pro-democratic movement. Later that day, Lieutenant Toumani announced that he had put an end to Traoré's regime. The ousted President Traoré was imprisoned and sentenced to death. The 2012 military intervention in Mali was the offshoot of the Tuareg rebellion in 2012. The Tuareg rebellion was a series of political and civil unrest stemming from agitations for the independence of northern Mali. The coup d'etat took place on the 22nd of March 2012 when some Malian soldiers, led by Amadou Sanogo, launched coordinated attacks on different locations in the country's capital, including the presidential villa and the military barracks. The mutineers claimed that the attacks were an attempt to register their displeasure with the manner President Amadou Touré had handled the Tuareg rebellion. The Tuareg rebellion is not new to the Malian society. The first Tuareg rebellion was known as the Afelaga Rebellion, and it began with sporadic guerrilla attacks on the government forces. It started from agitations by the Tuareg for the right to self-determination. Under the government of President Keïta, this group of people suffered different degrees of discrimination and neglect. They believed that the policies of the government were aimed at modernization and economic centralization at the expense of their way of life. The second Tuareg rebellion happened in 1990, and like the first, it resulted from the oppression of the Tuareg and brought about conflicts between the Malian army and the Tuareg rebels. During the 2012 coup d'etat, the military seized power and forced President Touré into hiding. The mutineers then proceeded to form a coalition known as the National Committee for the Restoration of Democracy and State, CNRDR. They announced that they had dissolved institutions, suspended the constitution, and imposed a curfew until further notice. However, on the 6th of April of the same year, the mutineers entered into peace talks with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. A few days later, President Touré and the military junta surrendered power, giving way to a transitional government led by Dionkunda Traoré, who was the Speaker of the Malian Parliament. About 35 people were killed, with at least 40 others reportedly injured. On the 2nd of May 2012, the Sanogo-led military junta announced that it had arrested nearly 300 soldiers who attempted to stage a counter-coup. According to them, this group of soldiers, known as the Red Beret, had been involved in a number of gunfire battles with members of the army at different locations within and outside the state capital. The gunfire battles lasted through the night and led to at least 14 deaths and 40 injuries. About 20 of the captured soldiers were tortured to death. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.